Did you know your brain is actually wired to sabotage your financial goals? The feeling of losing control over your spending or the stress that comes with trying to save. It's not just a lack of discipline. It's how your brain is programmed. But here's the good news. You can rewire your brain and take back control of your financial future. Hey everyone, I'm Rose Colburn, and in this video, we're exploring the psychological and emotional triggers that shape your money habits. And I'll show you some simple, practical shifts that you can make to break free from old patterns and create real financial freedom. Before we start talking about the specifics of how your brain works against you, let's look back at a moment we all remember. The pandemic toilet paper hoarding, when shelves were suddenly empty and people were stockpiling food and essentials. It wasn't just about the items themselves, it was scarcity taking over. Even though logically most of us knew we didn't need a year's supply of toilet paper, the uncertainty triggered our brain's survival mechanism. This collective experience is a great example of how scarcity can drive us to make irrational decisions that don't align with our long-term goals. But here's the thing. This isn't just something that happens in times of crisis. I've experienced this myself, especially when it comes to food. When I was packing things up to move into an RV several years ago, I was shocked at how much food I had stockpiled over the years. My cupboards were full of canned goods, dry foods, and frozen items, enough to last us more than a year. I realized I'd been overbuying just in case, even when it wasn't necessary. Let me tell you, letting go of that surplus was really tough, but it showed me how deeply scarcity had impacted my decisions. The scarcity mindset keeps you stuck in a cycle of fear. Fear that there's never enough, whether it's money, time, or even opportunities. It pushes you to make impulsive decisions because deep down you believe that resources are limited. This mindset can lead to emotional spending, making it hard to save or even invest wisely. But here's the thing. Shifting to an abundance mindset is key. When you begin to see that there are opportunities all around you, you begin to make choices that align with long-term growth rather than short-term survival. Long-term growth is the key to achieving financial freedom, something that goes far beyond just having a certain amount of money in your bank account. So many people believe that once they reach a magic income level, they have a certain amount of money in their bank accounts, or they buy their dream home, or maybe buy the car that they've always wanted, they'll finally achieve financial freedom. It's this belief that a single number or material possession will be the key to life, free from financial worries. But what really happens is that even after reaching these goals, nothing really changes. They're still stuck with the stress, the anxiety, the uncertainty around money, which leaves them wondering why they still don't feel any better about their financial situation, why they don't feel like they have enough or that they reached their financial freedom level. Why? Because financial freedom isn't about that magic number. It's about shifting your relationship with money altogether. It's about aligning your financial habits with your core values, finding peace in how you manage and spend money, and ultimately creating a sense of security and fulfillment that goes beyond the numbers in your bank account. It's not just about escaping the paycheck to paycheck grind, but about achieving a mindset where money supports the life that you truly want. Having a vision and knowing exactly what you want is a perfect foundation to achieving financial freedom. But sometimes your brain can sabotage that vision and lead you off track. The good news, you can overcome this and rewire your brain for financial freedom and success instead. Think back to the last time You told yourself you were going to save money or stick to a budget, only to find yourself splurging on something you didn't really need. Maybe it was that spontaneous dinner out with your friends, the sale that was just too good to pass up, or the latest techie gadget that you just had to have. You probably felt a lot of guilt afterwards, promising yourself it would never happen again, but that it does. So why is it so easy to get sidetracked even when we're determined to stay on course? The truth is, this isn't just a matter of willpower or discipline. It's how your brain is wired. Our minds are programmed to seek comfort and pleasure and instant rewards, even when they come at the expense of our long-term goals. And the kicker? This programming operates subtly, influencing our decisions without us even noticing. But understanding how this works is the first step towards breaking the cycle and rewiring your brain for financial freedom. The way our brains are wired is one of the biggest barriers to achieving financial freedom, and it often happens without us even realizing it. Our brain prioritizes survival, and as a result, it's focused on short-term rewards rather than long-term successes. This is what makes impulsive spending and emotional purchases so common, even when we know logically that saving or investing is a better choice. One of the biggest culprits is something called present bias, the tendency for your brain to prioritize immediate gratification over future rewards. It's why that new gadget or sale item feels so irresistible in the moment, even when you're trying to stick to a budget. Your brain just lights up with dopamine when you make that purchase, giving you a short-term burst of satisfaction, even though it may lead to regret later. The problem is, these quick hits of pleasure often come at the cost of our long-term financial goals, like saving for a house or building up your emergency fund. Another factor is cognitive overload. When we're stressed, whether from financial anxiety or just life in general, our brains, they just don't function as well. Decision-making becomes more impulsive, and we're more likely to choose convenient over what's best in the long run. For example, think about those times when you've decided to order and take out instead of cooking dinner at home, just because you were too exhausted to think about trying to cook something at home. The same principle applies to financial decisions. When we're stressed, our brain defaults to shortcuts, which leads us to spend money on things that bring quick relief instead of focusing on long-term planning. And then there's another thing called loss aversion. Our brain's hardwired fear of losing something or missing out. This fear can prevent us from taking necessary risks, like investing, or something as simple as making a career change, because the idea of losing money feels more painful than the potential joy of gaining it. As a result, we stick to what feels safe, even if it means staying stuck in a cycle that doesn't lead to financial growth. And here's the bad news. These built-in biases and tendencies aren't the only things standing in our way of financial freedom. The truth is, our financial habits are often driven by deep-seated emotions, just as much as they are by our built-in biases and our tendencies. This might seem overwhelming. That's why it's important to become aware of them. Because the good news is that once you're aware of them, you can start taking steps to rewire your brain for success. Think about the last time you hung out with your friends. Maybe everyone wanted to order a round of drinks or appetizers, or they wanted to go do something that really didn't fit into your budget. Did you feel a little bit of internal pressure to join them? After all, none of us wants to be the one saying, I'll just stick with water, or I'm skipping the extras tonight, or maybe that place is a little too pricey for me. How about if we go to this place instead? in the moment, it seems like such a small decision to just go with the flow, do what everyone else is doing. But if you've ever felt that discomfort or guilt, you know it's not just about the price of a drink. It's about the pressure, the fear of seeming cheap, or worrying that others might judge your choices. These little moments actually reflect a much deeper issue with money and our emotions. When it comes to money, it's not just about the numbers. It's about how we feel and respond to those numbers. Financial anxiety, for example, doesn't just come from the reality of paying bills or having debt. It often comes from emotional triggers rooted in a scarcity mindset. This mindset tells us that there's never enough, whether it's money, time, resources, and it keeps us locked in a state of stress and worry. Living paycheck to paycheck amplifies this anxiety. The emotional toll of constantly worrying about making ends meet can impact mental health, relationships, and your overall well-being. The cycle of stress and financial strain can make it feel impossible to break, leaving you feeling trapped. What's really happening in these moments is that our brains are reacting to perceived threats. This can push us into fight or flight mode, where our choices become more reactive and less strategic. The result? You spend impulsively for temporary relief, or we avoid taking the steps needed to regain control of our finances. And there's even another thing that adds to all of this, which is the taboo of money. Have you ever noticed that money can be a more uncomfortable topic than discussing politics or even personal matters? Society often judges people based on their financial status or their decisions, which reinforces the idea that money conversations are off limits. Making money an off limits topic of discussion causes a whole bunch of problems, like shame, secrecy, and a lack of healthy financial decisions. I remember not too long ago, I tried talking to my mom about her spending and gambling habits and some trouble she was having with her bills. Her first reaction was to really just lash out at me and defend herself. She said, "I pay my bills." Yeah, trust me, money is a touchy subject. And as long as talking about money is a taboo topic, the harder it will become for people who need help or even just a little bit of advice to ask for it, to learn new strategies, or even admit that something has to change to improve their financial situation. But guess what? There's one more issue that adds to all of these barriers to achieving financial freedom, and that's the issue of social pressure. We live in a world where everyone wants people to think they're successful, whether that's on social media or within their friends group. They don't want anyone else to know that they're struggling or having trouble making ends meet. This fear of being judged by people around us creates so much anxiety and internal struggle. We worry that people are judging us for being too frugal or for prioritizing our savings over hanging out with them. This social pressure can push people to make choices that align with the expectations of other people rather than with our own goals. This pressure makes it tough to stick to a budget or save for the future. Overcoming these barriers is absolutely essential for rewiring our brain so that we can approach money with a more open and growth-oriented mindset. Here's the good news. Even though we face all these psychological and emotional barriers to success, it really is possible to take control and start rewiring those habits for success. Building healthier financial habits is all about making small, intentional changes that gradually shift our mindset and behaviors around money. One of the simplest ways to get started is by setting up automatic savings. When increasing our savings or emergency fund is a decision that we have to constantly make, it's just too easy to spend that money on something else. But if you automate your savings, whether it's $10 or $100 every payday, you're removing the temptation to spend and making savings a natural part of your routine. This might seem like it's really small, but over time, these savings accounts will build up and you'll have created a safety net that grows with just very little effort. Here's another powerful habit, which is practicing mindful spending. Before making a purchase, pause for just a moment and ask yourself, is this something I truly need? Or is it something that I'm buying out of impulse or social pressure? This simple question can make a world of difference. It's about slowing down those automatic spending urges and then tuning in to what really aligns with your financial goals. One of my sons, when he visits the thrift store, he doesn't grab a shopping cart. Instead, if he finds something that catches his eye, he'll carry it around the store with him. As he's walking, he constantly considers the purchase. Is this something that I really want? Is it something that I need? Is it something I was planning to purchase at some point? How will this add to my life? How will this affect my goals? A lot of times, the decision is made just before he's ready to leave the store. He's walked through all the interesting areas, and he's near the register, and he'll make a decision of whether or not he truly wants or needs the treasure that he found. Finally, cutting out just one unnecessary purchase every week or even every month can have a huge impact, whether it's a snack, a subscription, or an impulse buy. Consciously choosing to give up one purchase can help you practice self-discipline and add up to real savings over time. For example, if you decide to skip ordering takeout once a week and instead cook at home, you're building a habit of choosing long-term benefits over instant gratification. It's these small, consistent changes that lay the foundation for a healthier relationship with money. Each of these small, intentional changes will gradually reshape the way your brain responds to money. Over time, you'll find that making more empowered decisions and that feeling of financial freedom will become less of a distant goal and more of a daily reality. Achieving financial freedom isn't about a magic number or a one-time solution. It's about understanding the hidden forces, both psychological and emotional, that influence our relationships with money, and learning to work with them instead of against them. By recognizing the ways that our brains can sabotage our goals, we're better equipped to take control and make choices that align with the life that we truly want. But here's something really important to remember. Rewiring your brain for financial success will not happen overnight. It's small, consistent changes that create lasting impact. Over time, you'll find yourself moving away from stress and limitations of a scarcity mindset and stepping into a space where your money supports your goals and brings you a sense of peace. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.